Joined now by Patrick Johnston. He covers the Canucks for the province and Post Media. His column after Game 3, Canucks versus Oilers. What do you say about the referees now, Edmonton? Boy, you were spicy.
Well, let's playoffs. Let's go for it.
It's time to go for it.
Someone had to stand up for Roger Nilsson.
Absolutely.
I mean, Tony, you had Tony on yesterday.
Oh, well, I mean, of all the things that bothered me in the spec column, and hey, maybe that was the point, right?
I'm sure it was.
But
spec. So, this is spec. He knows what he's doing.
Right. But first of all, who anointed Mark Spector the gatekeeper of Roger Nilsson's legacy? To my knowledge, he was never the head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. Where Spector has been for 35 plus years.
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
But the thing about Roger, what was he known for? Being innovative and a quick, dry wit.
Yeah.
The towel on the stick in the 82 series against Chicago was all of those things, right?
Yeah.
I think it's almost the perfect tribute to Roger Nilsson. And at least somebody has tributed Roger Nilsson. Certainly wasn't going to be Philadelphia, not as long as Bobby Clark's got breath. And it wasn't going to be Toronto either. So, I'm glad there's some monument to the great innovator, Captain Video Roger Nilsson.
Not everything needs to be breathless. We need it's hockey, guys. Let's have some fun here. And Roger was just like, what is this nonsense? I mean, come on. Snubbing his nose to authority. Like I said in the column, you think Albertans would gravitate to this. It's their national ethos.
Absolutely. You're the fight the power, fight the central authority.
Authority, they're nonsense. They don't understand.
The modern tendency to attribute any opinion as a breathless opinion is one of my biggest pet peeves, though, in society today. You can tweet anything and people will think it is your reason to be. It is the only thing you stand for left in life. And you can just be like, I don't like, red sweaters. And people are like, what? And it's like, why do you hate red sweaters so much? And I don't. In the playoffs are just heightening emotions so much. Everything is everything in everybody's world. And it's a lot. It's a lot to digest, which would make the Vancouver Canucks winning this series in 5 altogether that much better, because it would just get us out of here a lot quicker.
Oh, that's going to go well. We just want to get out of here. Vancouver's done with Edmonton, ready to move on.
Oh, it's exhausting.
Bring on Dallas.
It's exhausting. Yeah, because Gallardi versus Aquilini, that would be really tame too, right?
That's what we want. Yeah, we don't even care about. We're over it now. We've done
Honestly. It's like that old image of little brother and just the hands on his forehead and he's punching and kicking and screaming. You're just like, enough, Edmonton.
Yeah. Go to your room.
Go retire to the summer, or Penticton, or wherever you go in the summer.
Yeah. Go to your retirement homes in BC.
Yeah, in BC.
And relax.
That's right. That's right. In fact, I was out, took my parents out on the weekend. They had a friend here from Calgary visiting a friend here from Vancouver. And my mom said, oh, Maggie, are you going to go visit Joyce in Calgary? And I said, Mom, no. BC doesn't visit Alberta. Alberta comes to BC.
Yeah, it's true.
That's true.
All right.
Can I just make a side credit? Sometimes we got to throw credit. I'm going to throw the Oilers some credit here. Mm-hmm. Jamie Cartmell doing a great job getting his players out there. Stuart Skinner stood up and apologized. And today on game day, Calvin Pickard spoke to the media. The biggest start of his career.
Oh, needless to say. So
that's a team that gets it.
On this Jamie always did an exceptional job, both with the old Eskimos, now Elks, then with the BC Lions. He was a pro's pro when it came to media relations and PR. Of that, there was no doubt. So I'm not surprised in the least there. What I would say is I am surprised by this move from Coach Knobloch. I understand the rationale of it's easier to go back to Stewart in Game 5 in Vancouver if you happen to lose this one. But, as bad as Skinner has been, it is quite a step down to Pickard, and you could have gone Skinner on a short leash tonight. And if you get behind by a couple of goals, you still got the world's best offense.
That's the no-brainer. That's the
right.
No-brainer.
So what's your take on the move to Calvin Pickard here? And Does it smack of desperation for you,
It,
Peach?
it does. Yeah, desperation is the word. You took it right out of my mouth. I mean, the pedigree here is not good enough, as I also noted in my story. Like Stuart Skinner appears to be a fine NHL starter, but the fact that he has been such a rarity in that organization speaks to the bigger problem, which is this is an organization that has not taken goaltending seriously for a very long time. And that's why your backup is Calvin Pickard, who I'm sure is a nice guy and has had a strong season, a real outlier in his career, essentially an AHL journeyman, a guy who has started 5 playoff games in his professional career. He's never started an NHL playoff game. This is a big, bold move that playing behind that defense. I mean, listen, Edmonton has done obviously a masterful job controlling the puck in the third period, but there's a reason why the Canucks have been able to score these goals, and it's not just Stuart Skinner. It's the fact that their defense score in Edmonton is just not good enough. And we knew it going in that this wasn't going to be strong, and they've been absolutely abysmal. And you think about the turnovers and the lack of, Brock Besser, credit to him, the guy's a goal scorer, but to be that open is just completely inexcusable for an NHL team. And so Stuart Skinner hasn't had any help. And in the end, the choice is going with a guy that has been mostly a third string goalie for most of his career. And there's a reason why that happens.
An opening
Hey,
goal.
everyone's saying maybe they're just trying to get in on the Artie party, right? Maybe they figure if it's good enough for the Canucks, it's good enough for us.
Cut from a different loaf, though.
I mean, let's be clear in the comparison.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like, Silovs has been excellent for what has been asked of him. And the Canucks, to their credit, have mostly been very strong defensively. For all that possession in the third period that the Oilers had, they had one even strength chance in front of the net.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
High danger.
Yeah.
High danger.
Yeah.
What we call a high danger shot.
Right.
High danger shots on top of the crease, difficult to save. They're not perfect. The natural stat ones aren't perfect because we don't know how the puck got there. But in terms of range and difficulty of sort of reaction time, Silovs has had a lot of help from his defense.
Yeah, when the numbers are that stark, the ambiguities sort of don't matter at that point. The fact that they've gone to this and they still have other roster question marks too, really makes you wonder what they've got up their sleeve for tonight. I would suspect that Draisaitl's absence from the morning skate is just for extra rest. I would assume he's in the lineup. Granite block Matthias Ekholm. He got hit hard, but he is a granite block kind of guy. Is he just shaking it off too?
I mean, it's hard to imagine in a game like this with so much importance that he doesn't play. The Draisaitl. I mean, Draisaitl, as I understand it, is dealing with some kind of back issue, and I've been impressed. I mean, the guy's a warrior. The guy's a beast. The guy is an all-timer. Like this speaks to, health is a skill, they often say, and conversely, being able to battle through stuff like this is a skill. I mean, Daniel Nugent-Bowman, to his credit, sort of says, listen, I think, based on this possible Oilers running a line of Holloway, Draisaitl, Kane, Daniel's well connected, so it's entirely possible someone's told him that as well. But he's putting it together, saying, look, these guys aren't playing. This is probably what it looks like. And that's a big, beefy line. Like, that's a line that is in there to play one particular way, and that's to be big and strong and very difficult, especially against a Canucks roster that's going to be missing Carson Soucy. So, we'll see. Kane has been, I would say, I mean, I think he's been good on the puck, but otherwise I've been mostly unimpressed. He spent most of his time giggling at Nikita Zadorov, which I suppose is a thing, but the question is about Ekholm. I mean, I think that's the other thing. Ekholm is their best defenseman and best two-way defenseman, I would say. Bouchard obviously is their most skilled defenseman, but their best two-way. And if he's dealing with something, like, that's a challenge. Like that it is that time of the year. Everybody's dealing with something, but if he needs an extra rest, and that is the other thing I thought about with this series, that every other day you're riding your stars. Obviously, McDavid and Draisaitl are in a special category. They're guys that probably do have an extra large tank and can handle big minutes, but night after night, and when there's almost no rest, like, that's asking a lot of a couple players, no matter what. And it says plenty about the guys that aren't playing in the end, too.
What do you think they'll do? How do you think they'll do without Soucy?
It's a challenge. Like, Soucy is, in many ways, their most important penalty killer. We knew from the start that his reach was a weapon. We've seen it time and again, the way he is able to use his length. I mean, Tyler Myers has learned some of that, but Tyler Myers is not the same kind of reach defenseman that Soucy is. And that means you're moving Ian Cole over. Maybe Ian Cole moving over the left is what he needs. Obviously had a lot of bad luck this series. But you're bringing in Nils Juulsen. Nils Juulsen's a good dude. We're going to work hard, but he's not Carson Soucy. And that, in the end, it's a challenge. They're going to have to manage. There's a lot of managing that's going to have to happen here. You know, Zadorov, Myers pairing, or however it is they end up running this out, like that could work. But Zadorov plays a different game from Soucy. You know, that they want. That's kind of a stay-at-home pair, and Zadorov is that swashbuckling guy who's sort of let loose every time he's on the ice. So, you know, against a team like Edmonton, McDavid coming off a game where he didn't record a point, obviously was hugely impactful, but didn't record a point. Yeah, losing Soucy really stands out, I think.
Is there a plus side to Juulsen? Is there something that Juulsen brings that Soucy doesn't? Do the Canucks get a little bit slicker skating maybe on the back end? Does that help?
They get lefty-righty across.
Yeah,
They get lefty-righty. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they get lefty-righty. You know, he's a good penalty killer, right? So, like, that is a good thing. I think Soucy's got better hands than him. And obviously, Soucy gets some time on the power play, mostly because it's the tail end of the power play, but he's got enough there. He has good instincts that I think Juulsen just doesn't have it. Juulsen's a stay-at-home hard rock guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's had a good year. He's going to make some mistakes. It's how you're able to sort of manage your way and survive those mistakes that will matter in all this. And he's just going to make more than Carson Soucy would.
Is he going to be managed? Do you think it's going to be pretty low ice time? Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, I think that third pair. I mean, whoever, presumably it'll be him and Cole. I don't think we'll see a lot of them. I think we're going to see a lot of the top two pairs. Presumably, like I said, presumably Zadorov, Myers. I think we'll see a lot of those top two pairs.
Mm-hmm.
Popular question before the series that's gotten a little bit lost in 2-1 Canucks, but does Elias Pettersson have to show up and make a mark on this series for Vancouver to win it?
I mean, if he does, I think they do. Like Miller and Besser and Suter have been running so well through the playoffs, and we've seen glimpses of Pettersson. A goal from Pettersson in a game like tonight, I have to think, would be a huge, huge factor in the Canucks having success tonight. And he's been okay in the end. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it actually shakes out again, whether he's back with Mikheyev or what have you. The fact that Ilya Mikheyev has found some juice and found some spark, I mean, he's not finishing, obviously, but he has played with some oomph, I think has made a difference. Linus Karlsson was everything they needed him to be in game 3. And certainly the way they're asking that line to play, which is a little more of a defensive orientation. If you're not going to score, that's helping. But at the end of the day, they need him to score some goals. And they need him to find a way, the way Brock Besser's found a way, the way JT Miller's found a way, the way Connor Garland's found a way. It's not like it's impossible. And we know he's talented enough to do this. And certainly that goal he scored in game 1, you saw the relief, but it's now, you don't want to start piling up how many games is it again since he's scored. He's got to make an impact in the offensive zone.
What do you think is the more overriding thought in Elias Pettersson's head? Oh my God, I'm sucking right now. I can't play this game right now. Or is it, I have no teammates to play with? Which is the more overriding thought in his head?
Can I pick the third one? Can you believe all these idiots keep asking me these questions? I can guarantee you it's that.
Yeah, probably that.
Well,
I think in the end,
tell him the idiots will keep asking it until there's a bottom line. And that's going to be even more acute when you're making $11.6 million. Next season.
I think I mean, if I have to pick one, I think it was the first option. I can't believe he's in his own head. I think
Patrick, can you read Elias Pettersson's thoughts for us?
The thing I can tell you is Elias loves speculation.
Oh, does he ever?
But here's the thing. I think that's the better of the two.
Mm-hmm.
If he's just doubting himself, I think you eventually find your way through that.
Yeah.
The worst thought is my line mates suck. Woe is me, because you can live there for as long as you want to live there. Right. So that's my concern.
It's a question of you can only fix one thing, and that's you.
That's right.
In the end, the question of who your line mates are is is a discussion for the off season, right?
Yes.
And certainly management knows that. Certainly Rick Tocchet knows that, and of course Elias Pettersson knows that. But the question is now is just managing your way through this mental aspect. And there was a late season discussion we had with Rick Tocchet where we were talking about the struggles, and we talked about the struggles on and on and on. And Rick said, this is one of those ones where the mental performance coach Alex Hodgkins can play a huge role, and so presumably you would hope that Pettersson is talking to him and trying to figure his way out of this mentally, no matter what physical limitations he may or may not have. Obviously, Tocchet saying he is not hurt, so that's all we have to go on. But I mean, I think he's skating fine, and he certainly seems to be trying to make things happen. But
The handles just aren't there right now.
He's still not shooting the way he was. There's
yeah,
no doubt.
and just not holding the puck like he used to. Like it's just different, just very different.
Thatcher Demko's taking shots now.
Yeah.
Is there no consideration of Thatcher Demko so long as Silovs is playing the way he's playing, or?
Well, yeah.
He's Gandalf going over the hill if they absolutely need him, right? With the in game 7.
I mean, you're like, listen, go back to my story when he first got hurt. I wrote about this. I mentioned he's likely not back to the conference finals. I mean, that was the word we were hearing. I had heard even then that there was a chance that maybe 6 or 7, which is this weekend, Saturday or Monday. But realistically, if you're serious at all about this and getting him healthy properly, he's not going to play in this series. And they don't need him right now. That in the end, no matter who stood in the Canucks' goal, it was going to come down to how they're playing defense. And they're playing defense well enough so far, and they're giving Silovs a chance, and he has played well. And if it doesn't go well for Silovs, they do have Casey DeSmith. So, that a switch to Demko would be if everything goes wrong in the next 72 hours, Like, it's just so unlikely that he would be available. Yes, he's taking shots, but the timeline has been, when we saw him skating last week, like I think I mentioned this last week, or no, I wasn't on last week. I would mention this last week. I was thinking a lot about when the last road trip I was on, which was the middle of early January 2023 last year, with Demko out. If you remember, hurt his hip against Florida at the beginning of December. And he went on the road trip. There was an Eastern road trip in early January. He went on the road trip, and we saw him on the ice. And he was doing all the same stuff that we saw him doing last week, that gentle movements, no pucks, no going to his knees. He was doing exactly that. And now this injury, as far as I know, is his knee again, and it's not his hip. And so that was a different recovery timeline. But I will point out that when we saw him on the ice on that road trip last year, it was another month before he played.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's a month away from playing. I think he realistically, at the outside, there's a week to go here. It's probably longer than that. There was some notion. I mean, there's certainly, I've heard the same thing everybody else is, that things were incredibly desperate. There might be an effort to push to get him in before the end of the series. But as it stands right now, there doesn't appear to be any need to do that. And I don't expect it will happen anyway.
You hear him mention that he wasn't on last week.
Was he given the Matt Damon treatment last week? Just ran out of time.
It was, yeah, basically.
Yeah.
We were
busy. No, but you waited. See, you waited, and you got me to talk about the column. So there you go. It was like you knew.
Well, you see, the thing, we were juggling a lot of guests there, and some had specific requests in terms of their days and whatnot. And then the next thing I knew, it was Friday.
Are you saying you have a popular
and Grady was
show,
like,
Matt?
we don't have time for 3 guests.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
It's a popular show, Matt. It's okay. Don't worry.
Mm-hmm. Hey, did you catch T. Gallagher yesterday?
Fabulous. You
Vintage.
guys got him in studio. All I could think of is how pleased he would have been to drive down to your studio.
He demanded to be in studio.
Patrick, 2 things. Number 1, so we had him on in December.
Yeah.
And I, walked him through how we connect online. And really, I was walking Susan through how we connect online. And so when I asked him on Sunday, if he could do the show, He said, I would like to come to studio, which tells me that Susan was probably engaged yesterday morning.
Yeah, I don't have my IT person.
And so he shows up here and we say, Tone, where'd you park? And he went, I just took the bus.
Attaboy.
It's easy enough because the bus stop is 1 block from my
It
house
is.
in Kits. And so he goes, and it takes me right here, right to the doorstep.
good.
So, hey.
Man of the people. See?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Love
And,
it. Well, he can gather his thoughts that way. You know, you sit on the bus, you know, think about traffic. I love it. That's why I take the SkyTrain to the rink or when I come to visit you guys.
There you go. So would playing Pickard tonight be a form of institutional surrender from the Oilers? What do you think?
Well, yeah, because the institution put them in this spot, and if it doesn't work.
By the way, the buzz from practice too is the thought of going 11-7.
I saw that. And he said Draisaitl and McDavid are going to center their own lines. They're going to be together a bit, but he said they're going to center their own lines. So lots of changes coming from the Edmonton.
If Philip Broberg
Oilers
draws in, isn't that a good sign for Vancouver Canucks forwards, the way that he defends?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he'll probably
Henry,
be the
that's right, yeah.
7th defenseman, right?
Yeah.
We'll see how much.
Yeah.
We'll see how much he's going to play. Okay, great stuff. Thank you for the time. Enjoy the game, and we'll catch up next week. I promise, PJ.
I love it. Take care, guys.
Hey, everybody! If you're enjoying what you're seeing here, then follow along with Sekeres and Price on YouTube. I promise, more content coming.
The kids call it subscribe on YouTube.
Well, how about liking it?
Do that as well. Smash it right now.